welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. I'm Liv, and today's video is one I'm actually really excited about. I've been meaning to film for a while and just haven't, so I'm finally filming it today, and that is my comfort reads. So these are books that I read when I'm sad, or especially when I'm slumpy. They're the books that I go back to time and time and time again. These are basically just my favourite books, is a simpler way of saying it, but they provide me with so much comfort and as you'll hear me say, a lot of nostalgia with a lot of these as well. So yeah, these books have a special place for me and I absolutely love them. Right, disclaimer about this particular series before I start talking about it. I know this isn't the greatest series in the world. Looking back as an adult, I can clearly see there's problems and questionable plot points with this series, but it's my favourite, one of my favourites because of the time in my life that I read it and the nostalgia. So I can look back and say it's not the greatest book, but it's still one of my favourites. And with that amazing introduction, the first series I'm going to talk about is the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare, this being the first book, City of Bones. So it goes City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, City of Heavenly Fire. There we go, I still got it. But I mainly reread the first book. As you can tell, this copy is not in great condition. So this book, I'm not exactly sure how old I was when I read it. I wasn't tracking my reading back then. I didn't know Goodreads was a thing. I want to say I was 13, 14, like year 7, year 8 maybe, when I read this series, and this was kind of one of the first series I read that introduced me to the genre of young adult books and kind of opened my eyes to young adult. So that's why it also has a special place for me. I read this book around the time I read like series like The Hunger Games and Divergent, so a great period of reading for a lot of people. I also was very quiet and introverted at the start of high school, so I did take comfort in reading a lot of the time and spending a lot of time in my school's library, so I have very fond memories of reading this series. If you don't know, I feel like everyone knows what this is about, right? Our main character, Clare, is 16 years old and she goes to this club called Pandemonium and she witnesses a murder. But the weird thing is the murderers have these strange tattoos on their body and they're wielding really weird like weapons. So she tries to go for help, but no one else can see the boy. The boy that was murdered disappeared and it's all very strange. And then later on, Clare is attacked by this demon thing in her home and her mother goes missing, and she realizes it's all connected to these strange people she saw. They're called shadow hunters and they hunt demons and supernatural creatures. So Clare starts to get involved because she's attacked by the demon, and the shadow hunters want to know why Clare can see them because she's not meant to be able to see them. I'm an absolutely huge fan of this series, especially one of the villains. Not the first villain, the second villain, without spoiling, that we're introduced to is honestly terrifying and really scared me when I read the series. I just think he's such a dark and interesting villain and made these books so fun to read. This book has got it all. We got romance, some questionable romance, but that's okay, fun supernatural creatures, kind of found-ish family vibes, fun action scenes, and terrifying villains as well. So it's a series that I absolutely love, and it will always be one of my favourites, I think. I'm sadly not really up to date with the world of Shadowhunters. I've read this series obviously, and I've read the Infernal Devices trilogy, and then I've read Tales from Shadowhunter Academy, which kind of takes place a bit after the end of this series, and the Infernal Devices is set years before. So I would really like to get up to date with the world because it's one that I love, and yeah, any excuse to reread this series I will take. My next comfort series is the Hush Hush series. This is by Becca Fitzpatrick. I also probably read this in year 7 or 8 around that time, maybe even later for this one, maybe year 9. I know this is not the greatest book as well, but again, because of the period of my life when I read this series, and I can't help but love the romance in this book. I literally go through and just read the scenes between Nora, who is our main character, and the love interests. Why not? It gets me out of a slump. It makes me happy. This is about our main character Nora, and Nora is a very straight-edged, straight-A kind of student, and one day this new boy Patch comes to school and she has some really like unnerving, weird encounters with him, and he seems to know a lot about her, like creepy details that he probably shouldn't know. And Nora, being Nora, wants to know what's going on, wants to get to the bottom of it, and then kind of finds herself dragged in the middle of this war between fallen angels and immortal people. This book is just cheesy, but I still love it. If you're looking for a fun romance read, this series is definitely for you. Oh, I forgot to say, first book's Hush Hush, and then we have Crescendo, Silence, and Finale being the fourth book. It's just super easy to pump through and fun, and when I was young, when I was a teenager and first read this book, I fell in love with the main couple and thought they were super cute. Questionable taste there, but as I said, I still read this book quite often actually. I don't do proper read-throughs, I just skim and skip to my favourite bits. So the next book is a duology, and this is the latest edition, newest addition to this comfort list. At the end of high school, I just like stopped reading. I don't know, my passion for it just kind of flatlined, I guess, and I just wasn't picking up books and wasn't enjoying books, wasn't really watching like book content. Now that I look back, it was very sad. What a wasted time of not reading. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling reading at that time. And then one day I was in the bookshop because I was like, I need to get back into my reading. Like, it's such a, you know, it's a good habit. I need to get back into it. And I saw this book on the shelf and have never looked back since. This book literally rekindled my whole passion for reading. I have not stopped reading since I picked up this book. And I don't know what year I read it. I want to say maybe I read it in I graduated 2016, maybe 2017, something around that kind of time period. And that is the Six of Crows duology, being the first book Six of Crows and the second book being Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. So obviously can't talk about that one. But Six of Crows is, just like, I don't know what to say. It's incredible. It's got my favourite trope, found family, and does found family, chef's kiss so well. You become so obsessed and feel so protective of each one of these characters. Also multiple POV, which is another one of my favourite things. So you really feel a connection to every character in this little squad group. Six of Crows, our main character is Kaz, and Kaz is this criminal prodigy, and one day he's given this amazing opportunity to earn a lot of money, but to pull it off he needs to lead a heist into this place called the Ice Court, which is this impenetrable place, and it has never been broken into before, and Kaz knows just the people to pull off this heist. I think a lot of people do read these books because of the character and the character development and how well they're written. It's not like in some group aspects where there's a couple of main ones and then the side ones are just kind of forgotten and not developed and not, you know, don't have thoughts and, you know, motivation. The character has these amazing, well thought out motivations for needing the money. I love every single character in this squad. They're all amazing characters, and I love this book so much. I don't know what to say other than like it's amazing. The characters are amazing. The plot is so fast paced and fun. Our main character is also disabled, so we have disability rep, which is nice to see. So yeah, like I said, this book literally rekindled my whole passion for reading, and I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't read it. It might have taken me a while to get back into it, or who knows, it might have meant my passion had have fizzled out if I hadn't picked up this book. Anyways, read this book, please. We've got multiple POVs, found family trope, heist, fun, fast-paced story, and lots of great romance as well. Oh my god, you need to read these books. Look at the condition they're in, absolutely shocking. They're looking a little rough. I got the nice collector's editions, but and I keep those in better condition, but these ones have just been read so many times that they're literally falling apart. Then we have the Gone series by Michael Grant. Wow, I love this book. Another YA series. Again, I don't know how old I was when I read this series, maybe early to middle of high school. Please ignore the construction noises. This is a book about our main character called Sam, and Sam lives in this little town in Southern California, and one day he's just sitting in class chilling, and everyone over the age of 15 just like disappears. So like kids in his class that were 15 and over, teachers just gone. It's like they vanish. Everyone's like, what the hell is going on? And they find out that literally in the whole town, everyone over the age of 15 is gone, and they can't seem to get out of this like town. There's like this invisible bubble kind of keeping them in. So this whole series is basically about kids learning to survive and run this town by themselves without adults, keep it functioning, you know, having enough food and dealing with babies and all of that kind of stuff. And to add to the drama of it all, some of these kids are starting to develop powers. This is a fantastic series. I definitely would actually, even though it's a younger adult book, I would recommend it to adults because of the themes that are covered in this book. It is quite dark, although these main characters are all 14 years and under. I would say older readers would like this and maybe appreciate the metaphors and kind of topics that are discussed in this book a bit more. We've got discussions of religion and morality and kind of like a metaphor for like discrimination, because there's kids with powers and kids without powers, and there's that kind of whole storyline as well. This book is also multiple POV, which is again something that I absolutely love. Obviously Sam is our main POV, he's our main character, but there's 4 or 5 like other main people you also read from, and then there's even more people you read from. So this book is always staying interesting because you're always reading from new and interesting people and seeing their take on what's going on and what's going on in the area that they're in, because it's such a big area to cover and so much going on constantly. It's such a fast-paced book where lots of stuff and new problems are constantly arising. I forgot to say again, this series, the first book is Gone, and then we have Hunger, Lies, Plague, Fear and Light. There's another series called Monster, which is like a new series set after the end of Light with different characters. I believe you do see some of the characters from this pop in and kind of make cameos, but I read that book and didn't really enjoy it, so my favourite is just staying with the original 6, ending with Light. So yeah, that's the Gone series. One of my fave series ever. Absolutely fantastic. Really interesting adult topics discussed, and multiple POVs, super fast paced, and even though it's a 6-book series, it never feels like it drags on or anything, because of each book kind of has a new main problem arise, which keeps it really interesting and keeps our characters on their toes. This series is fantastic, but again, make sure to check the age range that's on this book, and make sure to check the trigger warnings, because despite it being kids, some really messed up stuff happens in this series. I would also say if you watch that show, The Society on Netflix, it's kind of that vibe, but with younger kids and much darker, and some of the kids have powers obviously. Although I probably shouldn't say that, because I remember when it was coming out, the author Michael Grant on Twitter was like, kind of stole my idea, so maybe I shouldn't do that to him by recommending that show. So there we have it. Those are my comfort reads. Please don't judge me. Like I said, other than Six of Crows Duology, the City of Bones Mortal Instrument series, the Gone series and the Hush Hush series were read in a time in my life where I was really discovering, I did read before, but it really opened my mind, my high school library, to the kind of books that are out there, and really got my reading. I would say I was a big reader before, but definitely after discovering my high school library, I was just like an even bigger reader. So those 3 series were read in such a great time in my life for reading. So they're really nostalgic to me. I love all these books so much, and I will continue to read them time and time again when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm slumpy. These are the books that I always go back to. Thank you so much for watching my comfort reads. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments any of my favourite reads, your favourite reads. What are your comfort reads? What are the books you read when you're sad or happy or slumpy? I would really love to know. I'm very interested. If you would like to subscribe, that'd be great. I post at least one video a week, hoping to potentially move that to 2 videos a week, seeing how I go. And I will see you in whatever I post next. Bye!